Amanda, quick question. Who do you think was the most influential female scholar in Chinese history?
That's a tough one. There are so many. But if I had to pick, I'd say Ban Zhao. She wasn't just a scholar. She was a historian, a teacher, and a trailblazer for women's education.
Wait, a female scholar in the Han Dynasty? That's like finding a unicorn in ancient China.
Exactly. But Ban Zhao was no mythical creature. She was very real, and her work shaped Chinese culture for centuries. Let me tell you her story.
Okay, so who was Ban Zhao? And how did she become such a powerhouse in a time when women were expected to stay at home?
Great question. Ban Zhao was born in 45 CE into the Ban family, which was already famous for its scholars. Her father, Ban Biao, and her brother, Ban Gu, were both renowned historians. So, you could say academia was in her blood.
Okay, so she had a head start?
Well, not exactly. While her family was influential, women weren't typically encouraged to pursue scholarly work. But Ban Zhao was a prodigy. She was well-versed in Confucian classics, history, and even astronomy by her teens.
Astronomy? In the Han Dynasty? That's impressive.
Right. She was basically the Hermione Granger of ancient China, brilliant, determined, and way ahead of her time.
I've heard of the Book of Han. Isn't that one of the most important historical texts in Chinese history?
Exactly. It's a massive chronicle of the Western Han Dynasty, and Ban Zhao played a huge role in completing it after her brother Ban Gu died unexpectedly.
Wait, she finished her brother's work? That's a big deal.
It is. Not only did she complete it, but she also added her own insights and revisions. Her contributions made the Book of Han one of the most comprehensive historical records of its time.
So she wasn't just a footnote in history. She was writing it.
Literally. And her work set the standard for Chinese historiography for centuries.
Okay, but what about her role in women's education? I feel like that's a big part of her legacy.
Absolutely. Ban Zhao wrote a famous text called Lessons for Women, which was basically a guide for women on how to live virtuous and educated lives.
Wait, wasn't that just about teaching women to be obedient wives and daughters?
That's a common misconception. While the text does emphasize traditional roles, it also advocates for women's education and self-improvement. She believed that educated women could contribute more to their families and society.
So she was kind of feminist before feminism was a thing?
In a way, yes. She was pushing for women's intellectual growth in a society that often overlooked their potential.
I heard she was also a teacher. Who did she teach?
She was appointed as a tutor to the Empress and other women in the imperial court. Imagine being the go-to scholar for the most powerful women in the empire.
That's like being the Oprah of ancient China. Everyone wanted to learn from her.
Haha, exactly. And her teachings didn't just stay in the palace. Her ideas about education and morality spread far and wide, influencing generations of Chinese women.
How is Ban Zhao remembered today?
She's celebrated as one of China's greatest scholars and a pioneer for women's education. Her works are still studied, and she's often cited as an example of what women can achieve when given the opportunity.
So she's not just a historical figure. She's an inspiration?
Exactly. Her legacy reminds us that knowledge is power, and that power should be accessible to everyone, regardless of gender.
Why should we care about Ban Zhao today?
Her story is a reminder that education and intellectual curiosity can break barriers. In a world where women are still fighting for equal access to education, Ban Zhao's legacy is more relevant than ever.
Yeah, she's proof that women have always been capable of greatness, even when society tries to hold them back.
Exactly. And her focus on self-improvement and lifelong learning is something we can all aspire to.
So, Ban Zhao wasn't just a scholar. She was a trailblazer who redefined what women could achieve in ancient China. Her story reminds us that knowledge is the ultimate equalizer.
And let's not forget, she's proof that women have always been at the forefront of intellectual and cultural progress.
Next time, we're diving into the life of another incredible woman, Wu Zetian, China's only female emperor. Trust me, her story is just as fascinating.
A female emperor? I'm already hooked. See you next time.